My fellow friends and citizens of Foxboro, we are losing our sovereignty over our town. The forces trying to take away our ability and our authority to make right choices for ourselves and our town are coming from without, not from within, but some within our community in high places are being fooled into thinking that they are doing something good for us. All we ask our town government to do is to give us the opportunity, the open portal to unity, to practice freely our God-given rights and the Bill of Rights, which proceed from them, allowing every other citizen to do the same. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are but three of the myriad of rights which each one of us were given before conception, and these rights are precious to each one of us. However, our power, our ability, and our authority to practice these rights is being eroded more and more. It is not happening throughout the nation only, and this state in particular only, but it is happening in our town also. We as citizens of Foxboro must be vigilant concerning what our town hierarchy is doing. We must take back our town before we lose our town's personality, our town's heritage, and our town's simple beauty, which sets us apart from any other. We are not just a place on a map or a pleasant stop along the highway, but we are a community with importance and with heart. Liberty is the God-given right, the ability and the authority to make right choices in life for oneself and for the good of the whole community. This means that our town government must not take from us the right choices that we must make ourselves for the good of all citizens of Foxboro. Without the ability and the authority to make right choices, we are left with anxiety and a sense of emptiness and non-importance. This is a form of tyranny. We are all indispensable as far as I am concerned. We must not allow our town government to make decisions that affect our ability and authority to practice liberty. We need to be interested in what our town government is doing. Foxboro is our town. We own it, and no one else outside the boundaries of this town can claim this. I am running to be a selectman for our town, for us, that I may have a hand in directing the town in the way that is satisfactory to all, not just a few, but the many. Many decisions have been made not respecting each citizen of the town, but out of a perceived need in the mind of some that does not benefit the whole population, men, women, and children. This is why our taxes are getting higher and higher. This is why some of our town's government have a narrow vision, seeing only their own place and not respecting the rest of us. Our Board of Selectmen did a very selfish thing to the citizens of Foxboro. The value of property went up. This was an opportunity to practice a little fairness, equity, justice, and love, but they failed in the task. Instead of giving the citizens of Foxboro, their bosses, a tax break, they increased the tax by adding the rise in the value of the property to the tax. I do not care what they say. If you are paying 1 penny more, then your taxes went up. Someone asked me when I asked the question, why don't we wait on the taxes until we get a debt paid? I said, good idea. But then I said, why, if you are trying to pay the debt, are you spending more then you need to spend. The reply, good question, but the question went unanswered. We need to keep an eye on the budget, especially on the expenses. When our rainy day fund is getting robbed for extra money to pay for things. We do not need a bureaucracy in our town government. Who made the rule that town employees receive an automatic 2 to 4% raise every year? One very important action has to be taken by the citizens of this town. Many more of us need to come to the town meeting and stay not until the town budget is decided only, but there are other things that come up where your ability and authority to make the right choice may be taken from you because you left early. Some of the later decisions that we make in town meetings are as important as the budget. Another crunch on our town budget is the way we increase the pay of all servants. I would say that the town manager's office, seeing that they all work for us, should be separated from the rest of the union personnel. I think that they should go through a yearly evaluation to see whether or not they should receive an increase in pay for their service rendered. The pay raise would be determined by how their work benefited every citizen and child of Foxboro and not their own agenda. I would suggest also that the next town manager be from the town of Foxboro. Who better understands the needs of a town than someone who lives in it? Citizens, one who has a love for the entire community, who has the insight to lead the town to greatness by drawing out of each citizen their strengths, to make Foxboro a better home for all of its citizens, is one whom we should select. Our senior citizens and our youth are very important people in our town. We need to allow senior citizens to continue to live in their homes instead of having to move out because of high taxes. The first thing the town manager needs to do is apologize to the town for raising the taxes and immediately correct the deficiency, or his first evaluation will be unsatisfactory because he did not take into consideration the needs of the town. Is it right to limit the liberty of our senior citizens? Should they be forced out of their homes for a selfish reason? I say no, 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 1,000 times no. The wisdom that they have received over the years are an asset to the town, not a burden. They can have a real influence upon our youth. They can teach common sense, which I call God sense. And what of our youth? Are we seeing to it that they are learning our national heritage, both the good parts and the evil parts, that they may not repeat the errors of the past? Are they learning the math skills that are necessary to make new discoveries and invent new products that will lead us into a successful century? Or are they learning some other agenda that will not benefit them or anyone else? Are they learning how to read with understanding and with a critical mind? Are they learning to express their thoughts well with both the spoken and the written word? Are they learning both deductive and inductive reason? Are they learning their history that they will not repeat the errors of the past? Are they learning at least one science and at least 2 languages, their own and one other? My friends and citizens of Foxboro, we are losing our sovereignty. And therefore, we must see to it that our youth are learning to use all of the tools that are available to them. Are they learning to use a dictionary and a thesaurus that they may improve their vocabularies and rhetoric? Are they learning to think for themselves, not being forced to think a certain way? Are they able to put their own words to what they are learning? Or are the teachers demanding that they parrot the information, not necessarily understanding that information? Are they learning the differences between socialism, capitalism, and free enterprise? These are three different systems. Do our future leaders understand the shortcomings of socialism and capitalism as it is used now? Do they understand why free enterprise is the only system that works in a free society? Are they seeking to rise out from among the status quo, out from among the dead-minded ones who are stuck in the status quo and cannot get out because there is no imagination, no effort to extricate themselves, no willingness to try something which has never been tried? Capitalism and socialism has ever been on the earth. Tyrants have used them both throughout history. This is why the nobility or the landowners had all of the wealth and the people were poor. Some examples from earlier civilizations: Phoenicia, Assyria, Syria, Babylonia, Greece, Egypt, China, India, and throughout Europe and Africa. The natives of North America and South America seem to have been the only ones who were good to their people. Socialism and capitalism were codified in the last 6 centuries by Medici and Marx and Engels. But these systems were used to control people and their wealth. Are they learning how to use their ingenuity to make a real difference in American society? All of these things are necessary for our youth. If they cannot learn them at home, then they must be taught. Teachers are the extended mind to the parents. They need not fill up the students' minds with the gobbledygook of certain ideologies, with their philosophies and psychologies that do not help anyone, but reduce children to automatons that repeat the message word for word. If the teachers are not seeing that their students are learning these things, then they receive an evaluation of unsatisfactory, and they need to receive, and they need not receive an automatic raise. The administrators of education have an important responsibility, which many of them have not considered because they have some other agenda rather than the welfare, and I do not mean handouts, in the life of their students. Is each student learning all of the above? If they are not, then your report cards read unsatisfactory. Should administrators and teachers get a raise if they are not teaching and instructing their subordinates and their students the necessaries of successful creative living? When I am elected selectman, I will be studying our bylaws and statutes for things that limit the liberty of the citizens of Foxboro. I know that this will be a lengthy project because when I do something, I do my best to be thorough and complete. Anything that reeks of undue control or undue force against your ability and authority to make right choices, I will report to you, the citizens, my findings. Then together we can work to get rid of the offending words. No matter what happens in our town government, you can trust me to give everything that comes before me the liberty test. And if liberty is lost in anything, you will have a representative on the Board of Selectmen who will not be intimidated and who will not be lax in my duty to see that your liberty is not diminished. I promise you this. I will bring to this task all of my resources and all of my skills in leadership and teamwork. But I will not tolerate the loss of liberty for any citizen who is obedient to the law of decency and the law of order. I am faithfully David Henry Coffey, which means a beloved leader of the victorious ones. May we, the citizens of Foxboro, forge a path into the future full of brightness of vision and wholeness of love for one another. Always victory.